everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amy and I am currently on a debt-free journey. My husband and I also just purchased a car in cash, and I asked if you guys had any questions about buying a car in cash, and I got tons of great questions that I wanted to address in a Q&A video. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my phone. There's so many great questions. I'm really hoping that I can breeze through these and get through all of them, because there was so many awesome questions I think would be really helpful if you are buying a car in cash or just buying a car in general. So the first question that I got was, what are the benefits of paying cash? So for us, the biggest benefit was no interest and also no monthly payments. So that was the biggest thing for us. We just didn't want to add to our budget with a monthly payment. I have had a car payment before, as well as my husband, and that was just something that we didn't want to do in this stage in our life while we're trying to pay off debt. We really appreciate the flexibility in our budget, and we don't want to pay any more interest. I'm paying enough interest on my student loans when they're accruing interest. So we just decided to try to buckle down and pay for a car in cash. Those were really our biggest benefits, as well as it kept us on a strict budget. We couldn't go over our budget, like go to the lot and be like, oh, this $40,000 car is so nice, because that wasn't our plan. We were planning to pay on cash, and so it just helped us kind of stay on our budget and also prevented us from having another monthly payment. So those were the biggest things for us, what benefits we thought of buying cash. The second question, do they still check your credit score? So no, they did not check our credit score because we weren't getting a loan for them. So there was no reason for them to check our credit score. Yeah, they didn't. So I'm not sure if that was just the dealership that we went to, or if that is common when you're buying a car in cash. Number 3, how did you negotiate? So there's a little bit of a backstory on this. So I did the majority of the research and negotiating for the car, just because it's my car that we were purchasing and my car that we were trading in. So how did I negotiate? So the first thing that I did was did a lot of research. So while we were saving up the money for the car, I spent a lot of time just trying to research different types of cars that we wanted, and we kind of narrowed it down to like our top 2 or 3 cars that we were interested in. One of them was a Honda CR-V, which is what we ultimately ended up purchasing. So I just did a lot of research on value and, mileage and all what was on the market right now and how things were priced. Then I did find the car that we actually ended up purchasing, and I noticed that it had actually been on the lot for 60 days. And if you can find a car that's been on a lot for a while, that's a good sign, because that means that you'll be able to negotiate down, most likely. And so while I had been watching that car for probably like 30 days before we ended up actually purchasing it, it had actually gone down in price one time, right before we purchased it. So I took that knowledge and I, ran the Kelley Blue Book of that car and my car that we traded in. And I just took that knowledge and I went to the car dealership, and we basically just said, this is what we want to be out of the lot for, and this is what I want for my trade. And we kind of just worked on it that way. My biggest tip is, if you have a trade, to definitely know the value of your trade. So I knew exactly what I wanted for my car, and I actually had gotten a quote from another dealership, a competing dealership in my area, what they would give me for my car. So I came to the dealership with all of that knowledge, and I also went to the dealership with the knowledge that I knew that I could walk away from it, and I wasn't afraid to walk away from it. And I feel like they knew, I feel like when you present it that way, like when you come in not desperate and not wanting, this exact car and oh, I need this car, I feel like they can kind of tell, and I feel like they might be more willing to try to work with you to sell you the car. Because I was prepared. If they weren't willing to give us exactly what we wanted, we were going to walk away, because I knew that there was other options out there, and there was other dealerships, and there was other opportunities for the car. And we were in a fortunate position that my car was still running. And so we weren't in a rush necessarily to purchase the vehicle. We just wanted something bigger. So that is kind of how we negotiated. We did end up mostly negotiating the price of my trade. They were not as willing to come down on the price of the vehicle. So they had priced the vehicle at around $20,700. And they offered me only $2,900 for my trade. And I was like, no, that's not going to work, because I had gotten offered more at another dealership for, also disclaimer, I'm not like a professional. This is just kind of what I did. So if you have any tips, if you like have done this a lot before, leave them in the comments for other people as well, because this is just my account of what happened. I don't know if this is common. I've only bought 2 cars, and this is my second car I've bought. So hopefully this is helpful. But yeah, so they offered me $2,900, and I said, no, like my flat is $4,000. Like that's what we want for my trade. I want $4,000, and we want to pay less than or $20,000 for a car. We weren't willing to go over $20,000. So we ended up working out a deal to do the car for $20,000 and my trade for $4,000. And so we ended up being out of the lot at around 16 plus the fees, which the fees, the title, all of that stuff ended up being around $1,000. So it was around 17 grand. So that's kind of how we negotiated. I hope that's helpful. Did you negotiate other fees? No, because I don't think we could. So the only other fees we really had was there was a dealership fee, which I know is pretty common. It was like $192, I want to say. And then we had like the title transfer, taxes, that kind of stuff that was not negotiable. So no, we did not negotiate any other fees. How much did you pay for the car? Was there any hidden fees or extra fees? So, like I said, we paid 20 grand for the car, and then we got 4 grand for my trade. So the total was 16. Then we paid taxes, title, licensing, all of that stuff, which was around like $1,000, a little bit over $1,000. So we were off the lot at around $17,000. Extra fees, like I said, there was just that dealership fee, which I know is common. I think it was like $192 or something along those lines. Otherwise, there was no other fees that I saw on there other than just like the taxes and the licensing and all the title and all that stuff. Did you pay cash or check? We did pay with a check, so we just wrote the check for the exact amount that we needed to, and that was that. So tips for preparing before buying a car. So my biggest tip is to research a lot, like as much as you can bear. Research not only the car that you're looking to purchase, but competitors, like other cars that are similar. Definitely figure out what your necessities are in a car. So for us, it was just an SUV that was a little bit bigger and had more trunk space. So we were pretty flexible on the style of car too. Like we just wanted something that was a little bit bigger, but you know, you might have like some necessities, like you need heated seats or like automatic start. So start with a list of your necessities, start to research competitors, see what the price ranges are for cars, just do a lot of comparison in that way. And then also if you do have a trade, definitely try to find a fair value, and just consider also, so another thing that we had considered doing, if we couldn't get what we wanted for my trade, was to sell it privately. A lot of times you're able to get more money when you sell a car privately than you would for a trade. For us, we probably could have gotten a little bit more for my car if we would have sold it privately. However, it was not worth the time that we would have to put into it. My car was like a disaster area. I mean, it was like we would have had to get it detailed and then list it. And for us, what we wanted to get was 4 grand. I was happy with what we got, and we didn't want to put the extra work into trying to sell it privately. But that is an option for you if you're not willing to find, or if you're not able to find a dealership that's willing to work with you on your trade, definitely consider possibly selling it privately if that would work better for you. So that's just something to consider if you're not able to find something that you're looking for. Other than that, just preparing, make sure you have your finances in order, make sure that you're, setting a savings goal if you're wanting to buy in cash. I don't think that there's anything wrong with necessarily financing a car. I'm not like adamantly against it or anything. Just for us at this stage in our life, we did not want to add a monthly payment. So if you are going to take out a loan on the car, I would definitely rate shop around, because a lot of times the dealership is not going to give you the best interest rate. A lot of times you're going to be able to find a better interest rate at a bank or a credit union local to you. So if you are financing, definitely, first of all, try and have a down payment as well, just so that you're not financing the full amount. You never want to be upside down on a car. That can put you in a really bad position, as well as just research the interest rate and all of that. So mostly just research all of it. Everything that you're going to do, research, figure out that you're getting a good deal. Don't just walk into a dealership and be like, hey, I'm looking for this. They're going to try and sell you, the most expensive car in your budget and all of that. So definitely look around. Next question, if the dealership would have offered you a very low interest rate or 0% interest, would you have considered financing it? No, because that wasn't, I mean, like interest wasn't the biggest reason for us. It was honestly like a majority of the monthly payment. I don't want to have to track another monthly payment. I don't want to add to my debt right now. That was like the biggest thing for me. It wasn't necessarily the interest, although that was a part of it. So the dealership did try to offer us an interest rate of 3%. I think it was like 3.41 or something. It was a decent interest rate for a car, honestly. I mean, it was not bad. I did finance my Honda Civic previous to this. I know I've talked about it a little bit in other videos. I did finance my Honda Civic. I bought it brand new, and my interest rate for that was like 1%. So it was a really low interest rate. So I did luck out when I bought my car. I didn't really do a lot of research. It was just dumb luck, I guess. But I ended up getting a really good interest rate on my first car as well. So no, it wouldn't have made a difference. They did try to talk us into interest or to doing financing. However, we were just like, nope, not interested. Sorry, we are paying cash. So no, we wouldn't have done it, even if they would have offered us 0%. Was it hard to pull the trigger even though you had the cash saved? I'm kind of surprised by my answer to this, but not really, because I don't know. I was just really excited to have a new car, and I thought that it would be a lot harder than it was to like write that check, but honestly it wasn't. I mean, we had done a lot of research, and I feel like we were really ready to buy it, and so I think that kind of helped. It wasn't like a rush decision. It wasn't something that we were just like, all right, we're gonna buy a car today, and like went to the dealership. We had done a lot of research. We had saved money. We had the money in cash, and I think that was a huge thing because I was very nervous when I bought my first car because I did finance it. And I think that was part of why I was so nervous, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm taking out this $14,000 loan, and I have this, minimum payment that I know I'm responsible for, and that kind of thing. So no, it actually wasn't very hard for me to pull the trigger, which was a little bit surprising because I thought for sure, like, signing over all this money to this dealership would be very difficult for us. Next question, did you trade in your old car, and how did you know that you got a fair price? So yes, as I said, we did trade in my old car. How did we know we got a fair price? I did research beforehand. I looked it up. I did a full analysis on Kelley Blue Book. I listed every single, defect, and I tried to be as accurate as I could and figure out what the fair value was for my car. As well as I actually got a quote from another dealer, which I think was a huge help too, because we knew, hey, we can walk away from this and get this at a different dealership. So that was helpful. I highly recommend doing that if you are trying to get a fair price for your trade, or just don't trade it in. That would be another option too that I know I talked about a little bit. Tips on saving up money for a car purchase. So my biggest tip is try to make extra income. So a lot of our savings came from extra income that we received. We were lucky enough to receive some stimulus money, which did obviously put us over the top. However, we did also do side hustles. If you're new to my channel, I talk about side hustles every single week on Debt Free Friday. I report on all of our income. Tips for saving up, just create a goal and just try to work as hard as you can to get to that goal. So making any extra money, cutting down your budget as much as you can. That is something that my husband and I have worked on a lot over the last few years, primarily for debt repayment, but also for saving for the car too. Like, we try to keep our budget as bare bones as possible and try to not spend excessive amounts of money every single month, and definitely just live under our means. I also did use my tracker. So I do sell my car savings tracker in my Etsy shop very inexpensively if you want to use that. It's really fun to just color it in. It seems a little like childish, but it's like super fun to see your goal visually and just be able to like color in that extra, $20 or $30 every single week that you can put towards it. So those are my tips for saving up for a car. Any regrets on paying cash or anything that you would have done differently? So no, and probably not. I don't think so. We got pretty much exactly what we wanted with the car, even down to the color, which I was not really, I wasn't like playing hardball on like the color of the car, but I really wanted a black car because that's what my Civic was. I love the color black. That's like my thing. So I was super happy to find a black car. So honestly, I literally have no regrets about it because we found exactly what we wanted. It's a great car. We love it so far. We did get a Honda CR-V. I'm not sure if I actually said the name of what car we got, but it's a 2018 Honda CR-V. It's definitely one of like the more bare bone models. It doesn't have like heated seats or like any of the extra stuff, but it was worth it for us to spend less money on a car and not have like those extras than it was to like have the extras. Like it's not like a push to start, like it has an actual key. Like it's definitely like the cheaper model of the car. However, that wasn't really important to us. So yeah, I don't think I have any regrets. No regrets on paying cash for sure, because it's really satisfying to not have a car payment and to have like a nice car that I know isn't going to break down. And yeah, no, I don't think I have any regrets. Ask me in a few years, maybe, I don't know. Hopefully my car is great. We had like super great luck with my Honda Civic. So I'm really hoping that that luck transfers to my CRV, because we had great luck with my Civic. And the last question that I'm going to answer in this video is it better to get something a few years old or brand new? Why did you choose the car you chose and the year you chose? So, I don't know if I can really answer this. I mean, I can answer it for myself. I don't know that it's like better to get a used car. I mean, financially, you're better off getting a used car because, you know, as soon as you drive something off the lot, the price just completely plummets. So I would definitely recommend looking into used. We did buy a used car, but it has very low mileage. It has like 11,000 miles on it. So it's like practically new. However, we did get it at a pretty great discount because it's a 2018, so it is a few years old. So yeah, I would just do your research and figure out what works for you. So when I bought my Honda Civic, I bought it brand new. And I wouldn't say that I have any regrets about buying that car new. Like I said, I had a really low interest rate, and at the time, I mean, I didn't really know any better. I was very young when I bought that car. I was 19, and yeah, so I don't really think I have any regrets about buying a brand new car. So honestly, just figure out what works for you. If you can pay cash, I think that's great. But like I said, I'm not like adamantly against people financing cars. I think that there's a time and a place where you need to, and if you do, then that's fine. As long as you're focusing on, you know, trying to keep the interest rate low, though. That's something that I do see a lot, is like people having like crazy high interest rates on their cars. Like definitely do your research, but financing isn't like the devil, you know. I'm not going to get Dave Ramsey on you guys and be like, never finance anything ever again. Like debt is evil. Like it's not. I don't think that. And I think that that's kind of a dangerous mentality, because I think debt is useful at times. So I hope that kind of answers the question. I feel like I got off on a tangent. Why did we choose the car that we chose? Honestly, it was the best deal that I had found. I had been researching cars. I had researched all the way from like a 2014 to like a 2018. The 2018 is actually the newest car that we had ever even considered looking at. I had gone all the way back to like a 2014 though. So we were not like stuck on a 2018 or a 19 or, you know, anything. We were open to whatever was the best deal. And that just happened to be the best deal that we found at the time in our location. So that is how we ended up with that car. But I wasn't against like getting a more used car, if that makes sense. But we had the extra cash and we were like, you know what? This is the car that we want. You know, it has the mileage, it has the look that we like, and, you know, all that stuff. So that's just the car that we ended up with. But I wouldn't have been opposed to an older car or anything. So definitely just do your research and figure out what's going to work for your budget and what is like your non-negotiables. And that is my tips. So I hope this helped you guys. Oh, I did have one other question. I'm sorry, I skipped it because I had kind of already talked about it. The other question that I had was like, did they try to pressure you into did they try to pressure you into financing, or did they were they upset when you said that you were financing, or did they ever ask you if you were financing? Like I got a lot of those kind of questions. So when we walked into the dealership, we never said that we were buying cash, and I highly doubt that they thought we were, because, you know, we're mildly young and like, I don't know, I feel like they probably assumed that we were financing it. So it never came up, and we did the test drive, and, you know, we started talking numbers and all that. And it wasn't until we were like, you know, had kind of agreed on everything that we talked about, like, oh, he was like, okay, here's your interest rate now. Or like, he was like, you know, this is what we can do for you. And this is, you know, the range and all that. And I was like, no, like we're actually going to pay cash. So for us, it just didn't come up. I don't know if that's common or if they would have tried. They didn't really try to pressure us. I mean, they definitely tried to like lure us in with like the interest rate, and they were like, oh, we can go, you know, as low as 3% and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, no, like it's not happening. I don't have an issue with saying no to people. I am like a very strong-willed person. So if I say no, it means no. My husband, bless his heart, is a little bit more of like a softie. So I was kind of like, let me talk, like let me handle the car dude, because he was a little bit pushy at times, like about some of the other things too. Like they wanted us to do some of the maintenance packages and stuff. And I was like, no, we are not interested. So yeah, it never really was an issue for us, and they never like went back on anything when we said we were paying cash. It was kind of just like at the end of everything, and it was like, all right, we're paying cash. So that was what it was. But yeah, I hope that answered all of your guys' questions. If you do have any other questions that I did not address, there was a lot. I don't even think I got through all of them. If there's any questions that I missed or any questions that you want me to answer, just leave them in the comments below and I will answer them directly down there. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I look forward to doing more of these Q&A videos. If there's anything else that you want to see a Q&A on, let me know in the comments down below. I would be happy to film more of these videos. They're really fun to film, even though I feel like I'm really awkward in front of the camera. So I'm sorry. I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.